All right, guys. So we've got Rasheed with us today, and we finally got to this interview. We've definitely been meaning to do it for a while, but super appreciate you coming on and letting me ask you a few questions to go
Definitely.
through this. Do you want to kind of tell us a little bit about yourself in general?
Yeah, so my name is Rasheed Lewis. For years, I ran a marketing agency for about 10 years. I had some event spaces as well. And over time, I just started to see that I could add value in other areas. And really, I believe that I had another gear. So I reached out to Ben and I said, hey, I want to start a staffing company. Where do I begin? And so that's what led us here.
That's where we're at. That I love it. Yeah, because you're a serial entrepreneur, as some would say, and you do very well. So adding the staffing component into the business was clutch for you. So you kind of answered my first question, which is generally I ask, what were you doing before recruiting and staffing? Which obviously you're doing multiple things, now, but recruiting and staffing is part of it. Um, so with recruiting, I mean, did you start totally from scratch? Have you ever done any kind of recruiting or staffing before you joined the program?
No. So I had some clients that were in the industry, but really any experience to myself, no, I had none.
Okay, so from the bottom, got it. Okay, so in the program from the inception when you started to date, right? How many clients or contracts, do you think you've signed or grabbed, from joining?
Got it. So right now let's see, we've done I want to say we're in 15 different offices in the legal side, and then we are in 5 different offices on the medical side.
Love that. Love that. So you really went straight for the tier three level roles, right? And went for the high money pretty much.
Yeah.
Because that's where it's at. So that's amazing. That's awesome. So you're serving that industry, those industries, which is really, really cool. Okay. So let's get to the juicy stuff. So let's talk about money, and I'll ask you, and you can say kind of however you want. We always don't ask for specific numbers, but they're always nice. What would you say, when you since joining the program, getting into the legal offices, getting into the medical facilities, what has been the return? What have you generated in revenue? And also, what's the projected pipeline from like what you have right now
Mhm.
into 2022?
Got it. So since beginning to really do, so we started off with direct hire. So primarily we do white collar staffing. Okay. So white collar staffing is different from blue collar staffing as well. So we do more of the professional staffing. For on average for the direct hire placements, we're averaging anywhere between, this is on one contract, anywhere between 15 to 25,000 per placement for direct hire. We've done multiple of those. We've done really a little over 100,000 with the direct hire. And then now recently in the last couple of months, we've been doing the contract hire. And so in which we're at about 20,000 a month right now, as far as like the payroll on that aspect, and it continues to grow. So it really, where we're at in our projections of really going to the first quarter and then going to, by the second quarter, we should be at, I want to say close to about 400,000 in payroll. And then by the end of the year, we're projected to do, with combined of direct hire and then also the contract hire, close to 1 million. And that's where, when we start to bring in, I want to say the middle of second quarter, that's when we'll bring in the sales rep as well to boost it, to make sure
Mm,
that we do hit that mark.
I love it. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because you got to build, right? I mean, you're clearly scaling, and so that's obviously part of it. And so building on, pieces like team members and systems and processes and all that kind of stuff. That's amazing to hear, though. I mean, because really you took the bull by the horns. I mean, you know what I mean, and went straight for it. So you're really, really doing it, which is amazing. So I've always admired your work ethic, during the program and everything, and even after, while we continued to talk and stuff like that, for what you do. So, which is awesome. So, $1 million, man. I mean, not a lot of people can say that, right? So super, super cool stuff. Um, I guess this is kind of like a given, but like you're you were not working a 9 to 5 during the program. You were doing just your other
Yeah,
businesses, right?
exactly. And I want to say this before, because so my upbringing in business was a little bit different. I started when I was 19. I'm 30 years right now, 30 years now.
Mhm.
My last job was 17 when I was working in McDonald's. But I want to say this: a lot of people look at that. Well, he has a lot of experience in business, so it may not count for me. That's not necessarily true. What Ben teaches, tools will change, but principles do not. And Ben, you teach principles, and so within that, it's just because I didn't have any experience in this field. I didn't come with saying, "Oh, I know it all." No, I understand principles in business, and that's exactly what you spoke to, and that's what helped within this process. And you helped really, like, even in times I'll just shoot you a message and you send the answer right then and there, and that's what helped me along the way to really scale up as well.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, you really hit it right there. I mean, that's exactly what it's all about, the principles, right? Because yeah, the tools, the rec tech, the recruiting technology, those will always change. Those things are always brand new. I mean, even just in 2, 3 months, there's a brand new tool that we use. But principles is really what it's all about. And I think that led right into my next question, which was basically going to be, what was like your biggest takeaway or your biggest thing from the program? Maybe you could riff off of that too, but what was like the biggest element? I know you mentioned, just the principles of recruiting and staffing and the blueprint, basically, right? The core, follow this and you'll get here type of thing, right? But I guess what was like maybe 1 or 2 things that you would say you took away big time that changed the game?
I want to say it's a lot of times it was I heard this quote and it's spot on with the questions that you ask when people are asking, like, I'm not getting any follow back, or I'm not getting any results in this. It would be, so the quote was this, like, don't be mad at the results that you didn't get for the actions that you didn't take. And you would always ask, okay, how many emails did you send out? How many companies did you reach out to? How are you doing the follow up? And that's one of the biggest things. It's like you have to stay consistent. And a lot of people, they're like, "Oh, I sent out a few emails," and then you just be like, "No, you gotta send
Right.
out more. You gotta reach
Right.
out more. You have to be consistent."
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like, people want to scale up, but they're not putting in the success metrics. So if
Right.
you don't have success metrics, if anybody's never heard that term before, it's like, okay, what are the measurable action steps that you're taking each and every day that will actually compound and build up to what you actually want? It's like you have to be able to put a number on that. Say, okay, I sent out at least 300 emails today. I sent out this. Okay, now I need to follow back up with these people. And
Mhm.
so for me, I guess the biggest takeaway was, like, you have to stay consistent, which is a principle again in success. You have to stay consistent. But you can't say, well, I sent out a few emails and then you get a bunch of no's back and then you're discouraged. That's part of
Mhm.
the game.
Yeah, 100%. And you can invoice Rasheed for his advice right there, because that's literally worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Reverse engineering the process, identifying your KPIs. How many emails do I need to send to get a contract? Okay, how do I send those emails? Everything, right? So I love that. I love that you took that piece and honed in on it, because the fact of the matter is, everybody gets, has the same 24 hours in a day, right? And everyone gets the same information. Everyone can watch, YouTube videos, or all the same stuff is there, but it's how do you use it? How do you digest it? And what do you actually do with it? That's the big piece. And obviously you took it to the moon. From my perspective, anybody that's going to go and hit 7 figures and run the run rate that you're already doing with staffing and being in 15 law offices and stuff like that. So that's, to me, huge success. So, all right, I'll wrap it up with this one. What's one particular thing that you would tell to anybody watching this interview, or in general, just off the street, about getting into recruiting, Any advice, anything that you would tell them about the space, or just if they're just on the fence, you know?
Yeah, I think so people get into staffing because they see the opportunity. When I first started getting into staffing, people would ask me, okay, why would you do that? You already had like your business already, you already done like multiple six figures in this business and you're continuously doing all this other stuff. Like why? And, I think what it has to come down to is, for me personally, I felt as if I had another gear. And if you're going to get into staffing, you have to realize that the game is already fast, but it's even faster when you don't know the rules. So for me, it's just like, look, if you're going to get into this, don't go at it alone. Find someone that can coach you. Find a community that you can ask questions to, because no matter what step you're at, there is going to be someone that has already passed that step or is getting ready into that step, and they're taking a different approach than what you know. And so don't just jump into it, like really educate yourself. Like this is a constant educational game. And so they constantly just get in there and really have this community, but also have the coach that can lead you down the way too.
I love it. Absolutely. Don't do anything without a mentor. Don't do anything that somebody has not done before. And you don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? You know, right? I mean, it's already been invented. So we can just replicate and rinse and repeat and make tons of money, because we're in the hottest recruiting market ever right now, in case anyone didn't know that. But yeah. So I love it, man. I mean, I only see you going higher and higher. I'm super excited for your success, and really, really pumped up. I'm glad that you could be able to chat for a bit with me on this. I know you're a busy man, so I appreciate the time, and I'm sure we'll be doing another interview. You know what I mean, when you're at multi-7 and and all that kind of stuff. So we'll be talking more. But thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview.
Thank you for having me.
All right, talk soon.
Definitely.